so fast.
Brr, brr,
And you
ma.
just, oh my gosh, high school music. Okay.
Alrighty. So, um, Apple, which is apparently a big company, has decided to take the power bricks out of their smartphone boxes.
Mm.
Um, they're saying that it's environmental, and then some are saying that it's, taking the cheap way out to save like $20 for a company that's worth $1 trillion. How do you feel about that?
Well, as an Android user, I'm dancing internally, of course, because they don't pull that stuff over here. But for you guys, on the other side, it's really unfortunate. You know what I mean? I think it's on the real though. I think it's really messed up because they can afford to put in those battery packs. Especially, I mean, the customers come first, not you, or their excuse. I mean, if their excuse is really valid and they're really trying to do what's better for the environment, then they wouldn't make battery packs at all, not just
Ooh.
take them out of the boxes. So
And that's an interesting point. First of all, I want to mention that I can already see the comments on people being mad at you for being an Android user. You're not allowed to say that stuff.
I mean, what are they gonna do? They don't know where I am.
Oh, you're right.
Not yet.
I mean, if you guys need Jeremiah's address, just slide. No. So apparently, right? First of all, I need to mention. So they've changed the way that the cord works now. Before it terminated into USB-A, which is the flat, rectangle thing. And now it terminates into USB-C, which any previous iPhone owner, unless they own a MacBook or an iPad, doesn't have a USB-C, wall outlet. So they're not going to be able to charge their iPhone. They're going to have to go buy a power adapter from Best Buy or Apple or wherever they get it from, which will then have its own box, which in turn wasted more money, in my personal opinion. But apparently the Apple boxes, the phone boxes themselves will be almost half the size, so they can fit double on the trucks, which saves gas, is what they're saying.
It's like, okay, all right, so usually, okay, I'm gonna mention something really silly, but for me, one of my selling points on Android is that I can just, download ringtones and sound for free. I don't have to use, whatever their method Apple uses. In some cases, which you have to pay for things that I don't like to do. But if they wanted to save money, why would they go? I mean, there's certain stages that you can save money at, right? Stage one would be, things you put into the phone, what materials you're using. But it's like, I feel like they didn't even consider that. They're all the way at like stage 10, which is like, oh yeah, the trucks that we put the phones in. Usually you start at 1, not 10. It's like, I feel like there's some other, it sounds like an excuse. Or there could be a real reason. I'm uninformed. This is just my immediate opinion.
I feel like there's always some sort of back burner reason that they never tell us. I just feel like this is the weirdest time to do something like that during coronavirus, where people are already struggling and they don't want to leave home in the first place. And you're just making it a little bit more difficult. Granted, it's a little bit more difficult because you can go to Amazon and order one for like $10, even though Apple's will cost like $30, $35, $40. But it's just a weird time to be taking something from a consumer right now. But I guess it's the way that technology is made in general. Because speaking of Apple, they have AirPod Pros, which I'm sure you've seen in the ears of people walking around before Corona. 2019 BC.
Oh yeah, before Corona. Good times.
I was doing some research and apparently they cost around $60 to make. And of course, but prior to now, they costed 200. They costed. Is that even a word?
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Okay. It's a word
Yeah.
now.
Over here, we use costed and
Yes.
interesting. Okay.
Just the word costed right here. Just a whole new one. Put in the Urban Dictionary. I'm sure it's there.
Yeah,
Everything's there.
100%.
So they costed 250. Now they cost 200. Are you saving money when you already know they've marked up the product effectively $100 and $200 from jump, but then they've taken $50 off, so it's only $150? Does it even matter, or should you still be mad at the company, or is it fair that they mark up their products like that? This is another ethical dilemma. How much you charge for something.
Let's see, okay. Well, let's see. If I was the CEO of Apple, what would I do? Or why would I do it?
Ooh, that's a good perspective. We should jump in people's shoes more often.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
now, I should mention for the people watching at home, only at Staples is this a current sale. So, not a sponsor, but I mean, hey, Staples. We're right here for you.
Hey, just one phone call away. It's on our website. As if we had a website.
Let me go make a website before you say stuff like that. I'll have it up by next week. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so rich,
Yeah, it's alter ego shirts with the logo. Who doesn't want Jeremiah on his collared shirt? Just a picture of him.
I mean, and I'm him, so it's like.
Oh, well, you get a picture of me on your shirt, and I get a picture of you on my shirt.
That works. Yep. Also, as a viewer, jumping in other people's shoes, I feel like a lot of people are going to take offense to that controller on your desk right there. You know what to do. Go on.
I did not think that through. We're just gonna ignore it. It didn't have it.
So if you were the CEO of Apple, what would be the right decision?
If I were the CEO of Apple, I acknowledge that our fan base is so broad and they're so quick to adopt the technologies that we put out, regardless of the price range generally, that I wouldn't even mark it down. Just because I make money regardless, and if 50 more people, well, I suppose at that point, if 1,000 more people buy AirPods than before, but you took $50 off of the price, then I'm not going to do the math because reasons. I'm not going to ask Siri over here because I don't want to prove that I'm associated with Apple in any way because this is supposed to be unbiased.
Oh no, it's too late. We're way past that. Don't worry about it.
This is not an iPad. It's
iPad, iCarly.
Yeah, it's a AirPad. No, yeah, I wouldn't change it. But I suppose at this point, if you were gonna sell it, you would have sold it already because it's been like a year and a half. And people are going through coronavirus, and I'm about to take their power bricks from them. So I don't know. I have. What would you do? That's the real question. You're the more morally correct person.
I think I'm more. I disagree, but instead of answering that question, I'm going to ask another question. Now, if your goal, let's change your goal. If your goal, instead of making money, was to, let's say, their excuse was to help the environment, what would you do to actually help? Since, Apple affects so much of the world we live in.
You're right, though. Because Apple does have enough of a carbon footprint to really matter. However, I could swing this both ways because in this position, in this scenario, I'm the CEO, right?
Yeah, you look like it too.
So to reduce carbon footprint, I am going to put out this AirPod Pro. I'm going to keep the price at the maximum legal capacity, which is, I assume it's $250. That's the most they could charge, or I don't know. Maybe it was just the only reasonable, whatever the case may be. And I would say $50 of each AirPod Pro purchase is going into making a cleaner future. Whether it be installing solar panels or using mining different materials, making synthetic materials so you don't use the earth's. I feel like that's also a harder step. Like if I had been told that from Jump Street, I probably would have been more apt to buy them.
So like every Apple AirPod that everyone buys is an investment for Apple. I mean, it makes sense.
World.
Well, yeah, the world, because Apple they need to make a profit, but they also need that extra money to help make the world a better place, to reduce that carbon footprint. So, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I think I would be more compelled. I mean, I'm an Android person, but I think I would be to buy Apple AirPods if it was helping the environment. Like if I actually see them and they say, hey, if you buy these and we're gonna put solar panels on every building that we have under our control, and we're gonna do green roofs, do this, do that, make things better, synthetic materials, all that, I'd be compelled. I mean, I'd be pretty convinced. See, this is why
at that point it justifies the purchase.
Yeah, I feel like that's what people.
Because if you're spending $250 on earbuds when you could have, or I guess $200 now, when you could have spent $70. I mean, if you go on Amazon, you can literally get some fully wireless earbuds for $20.
Mm-hmm.
So to actually spend $250, you need to be able to tell your friends, yeah, I saved the world.
I did something good. I feel like people need a reason to justify things that they want to do. If there's another reason behind it, they'll feel it's like that thought in the back of their head. Oh, man, I just blew away $250 on this little thing for nothing, just so that I can do better.
Right.
But if yeah. So that goes with everything. If there's a way to justify it, people will do it.
So you heard it here. From now on, Apple needs to tell people that a certain percentage of their purchases are going to fix the world. And then we're all going to buy it. Jeremiah will buy it. Apple, Jeremiah is going to buy your product if you tell him it'll fix the world.
Yeah.
I love it.
Give us a sponsor, or send me a couple of free iPhones.
We'll give them away. We'll get some of them away.
Yeah,
I'll give mine away. I'll give my old iPhone away.
I'll keep mine. Just for research purposes. Making the world a better place.
Making the world a better place, one iPhone at a time. We
are
thankful
for
you
and
keep
being
a
good
person.
Huzzah.
I love it.